morning, watching Sky News weather. Parts of New South Wales and southern Queensland are cleaning up after wild storms on Thursday afternoon and evening, including Sydney. Sydney really saw the worst of it. Take a look at that rainfall with severe flash flooding. One of the northern suburbs, Mona Vale, picked up over 90 millimetres of rain in 1 hour. That is intense rainfall. But we saw severe storms over northern New South Wales and also through some southern and central parts of Queensland on Thursday. And it's not over yet. We're expecting more storms today. We'll get to that shortly. We also saw hail from those storms in Sydney. Many of the western and the northern suburbs around the hills saw golf ball-sized hail. But some of the hail was actually almost the size of tennis balls. And I mentioned the flooding. Well, there's some more evidence. That's Bankstown, one of the southwestern suburbs. So many suburbs saw over 50 millimetres of rain from those storms yesterday. Take a look at that hail. That's huge. Look at that. It's almost tennis ball-sized hail there. And as a result, there was some damage. The SES received over 600 call-outs just across Sydney, many of them around Blacktown. That was the radar yesterday. Some of these cells were actually supercell storms, the most dangerous type of thunderstorm. Supercells are rotating storms that produce, on occasion, giant hail, destructive winds, and also heavy rain. But as you can see, they all cleared off the coast by about midnight. And we're looking at generally dry conditions this morning. Let's take a look at some rain figures. Terry Hills, 72 millimetres. It's been the heaviest rain in 13 months for you. Horsley Park, 58. Penrith had 35. Bankstown, 41. And Camden, 37 millimetres of rain. So some really good falls there. Looking at the regional totals, Ulladulla, 5.8. Albion Park had 20. The Sydney rain gauge must be broken. Surely we had more than 0.6 of a millimetre. Coffs Harbour had 32. Now, southeast Queensland had storms. Some southwestern suburbs of Brisbane saw over 30 millimetres, but the city just 4.2. Toowoomba had 5 millimetres of rain. It was a little bit hit and miss over southeast Queensland. You can see some of those falls are actually quite light, but it's not over yet. There's more on the way. Toowoomba, there you go. There's one of the storms there in the background. Let's take a look at the forecast rain today. We'll start with New South Wales. We're not expecting dangerous storms to return to central New South Wales. We'll still get showers today, particularly later near the coastline as these onshore winds start to pick up. Could even see some storms late Friday night with heavy rain returning, you can see Saturday morning across the Sydney Basin. So in the short term, i.e. today, a dry day for Sydney, but heavy rain's on the way for the weekend. Now we'll go further north because we are expecting dangerous thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening over far northeast New South Wales, southeast Queensland up to the central part of the state. So what we're looking at here is the forecast rain, and that red shading shows intense rainfall. However, we do have wind shear, and wind shear means potentially supercell storms. So damaging winds, large hail, flash flooding, they are possible today through this pocket, and that could include Brisbane, the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast. So potentially millions of people could be affected by these dangerous storms later on Friday. Alright, now this storm outbreak will continue into the weekend. I'll have more details coming up in my rain report. Looking at our satellite, we also have storms through many parts of Western Australia. They're not impacting the west coast. It's mainly through the central inland areas and the northwest tropics. Generally, we have clear skies for most of southern Australia. Here are the latest temperatures. It's coolish this morning for the southern coastline, Adelaide and Melbourne. You're on 13 right now. It is still warm and humid around Brisbane and much of Queensland, 24 degrees in Brisbane right now. We're at the back end of this heat wave, so it's gradually coming to an end. But here are the forecast temperatures this afternoon. Still climbing over 40, that dark red, for the northern Pilbara. And we're still hitting 35 through western and central inland Queensland. So these temperatures are around 3 to 4 degrees above the average. So even though technically we're out of the heat wave, those temperatures are still quite warm through most of northern Australia.